Hey everyone, and welcome back to Joey's Retro Newscast, and I do this every Friday. It is in podcast form if you want to download it and listen to me instead, or it's in video form on YouTube. And we go over the top news when it comes to retro handhelds and retro gaming, emulators, all of that. We have a very specific niche of what we covered in this segment every week. We are back, and I apologize for not having one last week. I was out on assignment at an Asus press event. I got to meet a few other content creators like Mr. Sujano and Tech Dweeb. And yes, I have now seen Tech Dweeb and I know what he looks like. Basically, there's nothing above the waist. You see part of the waist, then there's hands, and above that, there's nothing. And you're like, how do you even eat? How do you walk around like this? But I've met both of them. We had a fun time at the Asus press event looking at some Xbox Allies, and I did my entire review this week. So check that out if you haven't. All right, news time. Citron, the Switch emulator, version 0.8 is now out. This is apparently a special coordinated release with the devs of Ryujinx? It's a Ryujinx forks. It's a Ryujinx fork. Oh my god, I can't talk. Tears of the Kingdom, Mod Manager, and NX Optimizer. All three of the devs from those projects were involved with Citron 0.8. This seems like a very big update. There is full compatibility for both Zelda games, which is really cool. There's also some very big audio additions and implementations, visual enhancements, and there's a lot here to cover. It goes over my head for the most part. All you need to know is Citron better. Citron did things here. Have you tried this new update? Let me know in the comments what your experience has been. Now, we talked about how GameHub is likely a spyware app a few weeks ago, and I personally don't use it, and it seemed like a user took it upon themselves to make an app called GameHub Lite, which removes all of the tracking and spyware. Now, I want to be very, very clear on this. I have not tried it, I have not tested this, and this is no recommendation from myself. This is just to let you know that it exists. According to them, they have manually edited and removed all of the tracking and all of that fun stuff, and there is an APK you can grab. Now, I don't know if there is anything malicious that's been done on this front now, but this is another option if you wanted to test it, and I would maybe wait for some smart people to test it, meaning not me or anybody else. Now, I do assume that there are some things that do not work in this APK or this launch compared to the original, and it seems like you can't use your existing account either, from what it says. I don't hate this. I like the fact that we have people that are trying to push for a better way on this, especially as somebody who's not using GameHub for a lot of different reasons. But I guess time will tell if this is the right way or the right one. Maybe we have to wait for another one to show up. Okay, so question of the week. And let me see if I remember how to do this. It has been so long. My question of the week for you guys, there has been a few dual screen handhelds now announced or out. AYN Thor just shipped, and I have my AYN Thor, my white one, right here. It is so nice, and there's a nice grip. I put the shell on it, the TPU shell on it. It's actually really nice. I don't know if you can see it, but it is a beautiful handheld, in my opinion. But that is my choice, right? The Pocket DS from AYN, that's also out. Anbernic is making an RG DS, which we'll talk about later today. MagicX has an SPU of whatever coming. What hits the mark for you? Which one did you choose, or are you still waiting? If there is all four of these and you're like, none of these are what I want, what exactly are you waiting on? So sound off in the comments. What did you buy? What didn't you buy? And why not? And that transitions into this first topic in device news. The Anbernic RG DS is real. I know it's real because I got a lot of comments on the last video and elsewhere with people doing Disney's Goofy impression of, see, Joey, it's not fake, it's real. That's not Goofy. I can't do impressions, but assume that is Goofy. Anyways, yes, Anbernic trolled even me. I reported on it being fake because of Anbernic, who said it was fake. They said the video wasn't correct. So I reported on it being fake because that is what they said. So now apparently I can't even trust Anbernic when it comes to news anymore. That being said, it does look cool. It looks fun. It looks like a regular DS Lite. There are a few things that drive me up the wall already. The Vita sticks, which nobody likes the Vita sticks, but they're doing again, and they're awful. And this will likely be a D-pad only system because the sticks are on the bottom. So the opposite problem that the Thor has for a lot of people. For people that don't like to use sticks on the bottom, it's not going to be a good time here. I think the speakers on the top are pretty cool. I think the design looks pretty good. It does look like a nice handheld. We don't know the specs yet, but there is almost no way this will play Melon DS. So it will likely be a drastic-only system. And that's not going to bother a lot of people, but it will bother anybody that wants to use retro achievements, which is myself. I'm actually very curious to see how Anbernic software handles dual screen now that we have seen the Pocket DS and Thor and how they handle it. Anbernic and software don't usually get along, so I am very curious to know what they do, especially on the Android side, which they seem to forget has an over-the-air updater so they can fix and do things with. But it's the Linux devices that get monthly updates instead, where you have to reflash an entire SD card. It's so much work. That is really all we know right now. It is an under $100 price tag, so let's wait and see what the final specs are, and then we'll talk about it. There are actually 3 cool colors, or 4 colors, and I didn't know it was, is it 3 or 4? I'm not even looking at a picture. There are 3 or 4 cool colors of the Anbernic RG DS, and I didn't know it was actually possible for a handheld company to release fun colors again. Anbernic does it here. That's great. The blue, that's my blue. But I'm going to be honest, I would take any of the colors. They all look good. I will snag one of these for review, but that's it. I have no interest in this otherwise. That, again, retro achievements, this is not going to do Melon DS. I can already tell you that, considering we have other devices that can't do it under $100. This looks cool. It'll be a good purchase for a lot of people that just want DS and that's it. And they don't care about Melon DS. They just want drastic. And it'll also sell like gangbusters. It doesn't matter what I do here. My review, my thoughts do not matter on an Anbernic RG DS. Go look at how many views that video has already. This is one of those products where it doesn't matter. It truly doesn't. My thoughts, your thoughts, none of it matters. People are going to buy it. It could have the worst everything. It doesn't matter. We want to talk about input latency on the device? Go look at any Anbernic Android build. And now you want to talk about the input latency on a DS from Anbernic? That's going to be real bad. But I'll wait for the 3rd version of this in 3 months, which is better and will probably be a lot better. That will be the one I'll jump in on. The AYN Thor is now shipping, and they have shipped a lot of them so far. My white Thor just arrived here today, and so I've been playing with it, and I like it a lot more than the black one because I really hated the black. Filming a black handheld like this is so tough, but outside of filming, not my color. White is super sexy. I'm a very big fan of it. So I'm very curious for those of you that have received your Thors, what has your experience been so far? Was my review accurate to your experience? That's what I really want to know a lot of the times, is making sure that I am giving you the right information as well in my reviews. So let me know how your experience has been and what your thoughts are if you have received one. MagicX One35 is up for pre-order now, and this starts at $55 US for the fan price. Then it goes up in price from there. It launches November 25th. Apparently, my review unit will ship out like a week before that, so I don't foresee anybody being able to do a review in time for the launch, which not something I'm happy with. I could be wrong about this. I'm just going off of timelines that they've sent me, but I don't see a world where we can get a review done in time. I don't even think it'll arrive in time, never mind a review. There are a few reasons to be interested in the 135. First is the 3:2 aspect ratio screen, which is 4x GBA. That's pretty awesome. Second is the G85 processor, which they have been hyping up quite a bit on the Discord. I'm very curious to check that out and see what you can actually do with it. They do say that it can do past Nintendo 64 and so on. Not sure how well all of that will be on a 3:2 screen, but you have the option. Third is the Tate mode or vertical arcade design. This has double D-pads. That means you can turn it vertically and use it for vertical arcade. Not something I am interested in. This is like a GBA system handheld for me, so I'm curious to see it on that and what it does. As always, I am not going to recommend something based off of pre-orders and all of that, and something I've never had in my hands. But if you are interested, you can go and order it. It's up to you. MagicX has had a good history lately, but that doesn't mean anything when it comes to pre-orders. Mangmi Air X is finally up for pre-order and available. Actually, it's not even pre-order. You can buy it, it'll ship right away. So you can buy it directly off their website for $79 minus their coupons, which is Mangmi5 for $5 off, I believe. Now, they did tell me, again, they are shipping immediately, so it seems like it should be an actual launch. My review is so old at this point that I probably need to check back in to see what is new and what is different with the Mangmi Air X, but thankfully, they are finally shipping. The Xbox Ally and Xbox Ally X's are now out in the wild. Reviews are out, people have them. What are your thoughts if you happen to grab one? I got the Xbox Ally for review. I think it is interesting, and I think it is a perfect jumping point for console users and anybody new to the PC handheld world. If you have been scared of PCs before, I don't think there's a better way than the Xbox Ally, or X, to jump in now. The software is there, the onboarding is there, it is very easy for you to do so. That being said, I personally bought the Ally X, or Xbox Ally X. That is the one that I am most interested in. That is the one that I played with the most at the Asus Press event. And this is the one I wanted to take home. I would have said either way, even if they didn't just give me the original base Ally to review, I was going to review the white one anyways, because I think that is more important to the general public. That is the one that I think people care about more and will buy more. The lesser SKU always sells more. So that's why I'm not mad about that. But I did have to go and buy the Ally X, and so we'll do a review on that one whenever it arrives. I don't know if PC handhelds are still for me. That's where I'm at still. Streaming has just been... There's no word for it other than perfect. I truly cannot put another word on streaming besides perfect. I play all of my games from my computer streamed to my portal at max frame rates, max everything, no latency, none of it. So when I get a PC handheld that doesn't have any of that, I have to weigh the cons and pros against it. The pro is, if I ever go on a trip, it's good to have. The con is, I go onto a trip like 2 times a year. So is it worth having a $1,300 Canadian device for 2 times a year? Probably not. But we'll review it based off of what you guys will be caring about, not what I care about, which is just streaming and not worrying about any of this. Now, there is one last piece of news here, and I am reading my email as I talk about it because I completely forgot about this. The Miyoo Mini Flip is finally going to be out for order. Sale starts October 19th at 8 p.m. Pacific time. The regular price is $59.99. The early bird price is $52.99. Don't ask me how long the early bird price lasts for. That is the only information they have given me. My review unit is actually only a few days away, if not arriving today or tomorrow, something like that. I have one. So I should hopefully be able to get out a review before, I don't even know, maybe a first impressions before this goes up for pre-order, something that you can at least look at. The Miyoo Mini Flip is interesting. It is, I can't believe I'm saying this because of Miyoo, but it is interesting because they are making a smaller handheld. When is the last time we have seen a smaller handheld? There is the Brick, sure, but where's the other options? Anbernic doesn't make them small anymore. Nobody makes them small anymore. So that is where my interest is it too small or is it small enough? Is it good? It is apparently a Miyoo Mini, but a flip version. All of that is cool. A lot of people like the Miyoo Mini, myself included. So there's a lot of things in its favor here, but we'll check it out whenever it arrives, and we'll do a first impressions review, all of that fun stuff. Don't forget that we are playing games on the Discord. That's right, we don't just make fun of devices, we actually play games on the devices. Well, at least I do, and some others on the Discord. There's a few of us. Game of the month for this month is Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. That game sucks. Okay, no, it doesn't suck. It is Kirby, but Metroid. Does that sound fun to anybody? No, because Metroid sucks. I'm going to get in so much trouble. It is Kirby, but Metroid. That is the game. I beat it. I finished it. I never want to play that ever again. The ROM hack of the month is Super Mario Land X. It is more Super Mario Land levels. So if you like Super Mario Land, play Super Mario Land X. It's fun. It's a ROM hack. Then our game of the season is Legend of Dragoon, which is Expedition 33, but 20 years ago. Legend of Dragoon, pretty fun. I started it a while ago. I need to get back into it. I've been so swamped by Digimon, then Pokemon just came out. I am entirely swamped, but Legend of Dragoon, it's a fun game. So if you want to play these games, come join the Discord. That is what we're doing. Okay, and as always, we end off our weekly newscast with the Newscast Q&A. You can send in your questions to newscast@joeysretrohandhelds.com, or on the Discord, there's a Newscast Q&A channel. You can send it in through there. First question comes in from Matt Davis. Are Canadian Tire stores actually as magical as they appear to those of us living south of the border? I don't know what you see magical about Canadian Tire. They are like the one-stop shop for everything that is niche, and then expensive for everything that is not niche. So you basically go there when you need, I need hot tub stuff, I go there. If I need pool sand for my aquarium, I go there. If I need random stuff like that, a car battery, I go to Canadian Tire. But I don't go there to shop for, I don't know, utensils or not utilities. What is the word I'm looking for? Like a coffee maker, stuff like that. They are not the cheapest when it comes to all that stuff. Canadian Tire had their own currency, Canadian Tire money, for a long time. That was pretty funny. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the south of the border experience is from Canadian Tire. What do you see of Canadian Tire? This next question comes in from Shortening of the Way. What is your favorite non-online multiplayer game of all time? This took me some time to think about. I don't know if I have one. All of my favorite multiplayer games are all online. World of Warcraft, Warcraft 3, Call of Duty 4, all of that. If we're looking at just co-op and local, GoldenEye 007, I guess, if we go back to like 30 years, 25 years ago, playing GoldenEye 007 at a friend's house and every day trying to do something different, and just the hijinks that ensues, like proximity only, all of that fun stuff, like that's, my nostalgia goes right there. But that's my best answer that I can give you. Last question of the day comes in from Duxa5, and I'm sorry, this one took a while to get to. Hey Joey, I have $350 I can spend on a device. I am torn between a new base model Odin 2 Portal or a used ROG Ally from eBay. If it was your money, knowing what you know, what would you do? Is the Odin 2 Portal base model worth it even with the storage and RAM limitations? Or is it worth it to try and get the Ally but dealing with whatever availability is on eBay and the risk of buying used? For context, I don't have a gaming PC, so I wanted a device that can do it all. This is a hard question to answer for anybody. Like for me, my mind would instantly go to the Odin 2 Portal, but I can stream. So I don't have to worry about compatibility or anything like that because I have it all. But the ROG Ally has its own negatives as well. The battery life lasts like an hour. I had the ROG Ally. Ergonomics not that great. It was a first-gen device. Like it is still very good. There are mods you can do for the battery and all of that. But I am not a big fan of the original ROG Ally at this point anymore. That doesn't mean it's bad. It's just, you're asking me what I would do with my money. So, but if you only have $350, then yeah, I would probably go ROG Ally as long as you don't mind the battery stuff. Like it has the power, it has all the other stuff. So ROG Ally would be the better of the two, and it's more of a do-it-all sort of scenario. If you can stretch the budget a little bit more, something like the Legion Go S, Z2 Go model, if you can find that pretty cheap, I don't know, that would be a good option. Or if there's any other used options that are pretty close, like the Ally X and sort of thing. But yeah, to answer your question, I guess I would go ROG Ally in that scenario. If I had a specific budget requirement and I didn't care about battery, that would be the choice. That is everything this week. Make sure that you like and sub to help the newscast grow. You can come join me on the Discord to play some games. Support me through YouTube membership if you like my stuff. And I appreciate you all for watching. And that's all from me, Nanaimo, British Columbia.